welcome to the Manic Pixie Dream Vlog. I'm your host, Caroline Georges, and welcome today. I can't sleep. I don't know, I can't sleep. So I'm just gonna do a vlog and just talk about what's been on my mind, and just maybe this will help me sleep. I had a show tonight at UCB, and I got 5 minutes. My ex-boyfriend booked me for it. It was his show that he produces there. And originally I had 7 minutes, but I lost 2 minutes in the breakup. So, I don't know. I mean, people lose millions of dollars in divorces. So, I mean, it's 2 minutes on a set at UCB. So, oh well. But I don't know. I didn't do that great. I followed a comedian who was very good and much stronger than I am, much more experienced, and has been doing it a lot longer. And then I followed him, and I wanted to do a joke about this guy I used to date who came out of the closet later on, and it turns out he was gay. But yeah, and so I do a joke about it, and yeah, and so what really bothered me is I told the joke once, and then a girl accused me of being homophobic. But it's like, bitch, I was fucking a gay man. You know what I mean? Like, I love gay men. I love gay men so much that I'll fuck one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a pretty intuitive person, I feel like. I'm all emotion. I'm all feel. I just feel. I don't know. Intelligence comes in so many forms and shapes and sizes, and I mean, I know people who went, to like Harvard, and they're idiots, you know what I mean? But then you meet somebody who's like from the streets, and they actually have some pretty interesting things to say, and it's like, people, I don't know, some people are street smart, some people are book smart, some people are intuitive, and some people are analytical, and some people are, it's just intelligence comes in so many different shapes and sizes, But I didn't know he was gay. I had no idea. No clue. Not at all. I had no idea. And, yeah. That's that. But, so I did a joke about it, and I wanted to do the joke, but I went to an open mic earlier, and I did it, and it bombed, and so I wasn't feeling comfortable or confident with it, and but I wanted to do it. I wanted to do that joke, and then I didn't. I did jokes that I knew worked, and I knew were good, and I did them a million times before, and I wasn't brave, I didn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't just go for it, fuck it, I'm gonna go out there and tell this hilarious story about how I was fucking a gay man, you know what I mean? And I didn't do the jokes I wanted to do. And I don't know, everyone said I did great, but I don't think I did. And, yeah, my ex-boyfriend booked me on it, though, and he gave me 5 minutes, and so I wanted to do a good job, and for him doing that for me, and I still want to impress him, even though we're not together anymore, I still want him to be impressed with me, and I wasn't impressive. I didn't feel like I was very impressive. And yeah, I read his diary while I was cleaning his apartment, and I read his diary, and I just for the parts where I was mentioned, and his handwriting is, he's a genius, or whatever. So I mean, his handwriting's shit, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you can only read every other word, you can only make out every other word, you know? And so it was like, we started dating the beginning of July. So it was 2 weeks, the entry was 2 weeks before we started dating. And he said that he was lonely. And then he said, I want Caroline's body in bed with me. Not, I want Caroline in bed with me. I want Caroline's body in bed with me. Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right. I know what it means. I just can't explain it, but I know something of what that means. And that, you know, you just, it sounds about right. People want warm bodies in bed with them to make them feel comfortable and make them feel comforted, I guess. But I'm not a sex doll, you know. I identify with sex dolls, though. Sometimes, you know, you're walking down the street and you get catcalled, some gross guy, you know, whistles at you or kisses at you, or, you know, and you just feel like a sex doll. You just feel like a body with an orifice, you know, that can give somebody pleasure, you know. Just like a sex doll. You feel like just like a walking sex doll. I have a new friend. She was one of Louis C.K.'s accusers. And God, you know, she's gonna come on as a guest when and so that'll be really nice to talk to her. And I don't want to I don't want to say something about her or just misrepresent her or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do that. But he approached her because he liked her writing. And he connected with her because he liked her writing. And he reached out to her because he liked her writing. Or that's what she thought. And then he just jerked off to her over the phone. That really hurt her. That really, really hurt her. Maybe men just don't know what that means, you know? Maybe men just can't know what that means. Maybe men just can't understand what that means. I understand what that means. I understand that feeling. I understand how she feels. I'm very excited to talk to her. She has a lot to say. And you know, and she forgave him when she read his apology. She accepted his apology, and that was enough for her. And she says after that, it went too far. She said it should have been over and done with after his apology. She's a good woman. She's a forgiving woman. She's not an embittered spirit. And she was misrepresented by the press. And she feels manipulated by the press and the New York Times journalist that reached out to her. And she's that girl now, you know, she's that woman. Like, what does that mean to be that girl? Cause I'm that girl. I'm representing that girl. I'm being that girl. You know? And I'm not afraid of that. I mean, I of course I am, but I mean, that happened to her. That happened to her, and she told the truth. And from there, it was out of her hands. It was completely out of her hands. I feel so bad for her. She gets called a cunt every day on Instagram. She gets called a cunt. She gets called names. Because she told the truth when she was asked to tell the truth about what happened and how that made her feel. I don't know, but I mean, I don't want to be, I mean, maybe my ex-boyfriend, maybe it was like I didn't want him. Maybe I just wanted a warm body too. Maybe I just wanted to lie in bed with somebody and feel protected and feel safe. I love sleeping in bed with a man, you know? I sleep on the inside of the bed. He sleeps on the outside, closest to the door. I mean, that's a good way to feel, you know? But I don't want someone's body next to me. I want someone's soul lying next to me. You know, and I just think so many men just want the good. They just want the good with me, you know? But I've got so much bad. I've just got so much bad in me. I've got so much that's wrong. And it just made me feel, I feel unlovable sometimes because of all this bad that I've got in me. So much of it isn't even my fault. So much of this bad is of an affliction from men that abused me, or women that abused me, family members that abused me. But forgiveness is the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way to heal. It's the only way to not be that girl. Is just to forgive and to move on. And that's what I'm trying so hard to do, and that's why I can't sleep. If I forgave the people I'm supposed to forgive, the people I need to forgive, I'd be able to sleep, you know? But you know, the Bible talks about forgiveness, and sometimes it's just like, it makes forgiveness sound so fucking easy. And it's not easy. It's not easy to forgive people. It takes a lot of work to get to a place to forgive people. And you know what? You have to be patient with me. You have to give me time, you know? You have to give me time to get to a place where I'm ready to forgive people, you know? That's what you have to do for people. That's what you have to do for hurting people. Give them time to get ready to forgive, because it's not easy. and this woman was so that I spoke to, who was one of Louis C.K.'s accusers. She was so excited. She thought she was going to have a mentor. She thought she was going to have, somebody that would support her writing. She thought that was going to help her with her writing. And then he just jerked off to her, and that was all he gave her. That was all she got. And you know what? She forgives him. She completely forgives him. Even though he did that nasty thing to her, she completely forgives him. And she texted him telling him that. And she texted him telling him that she hopes there's no hard feelings. And he didn't text her back. He didn't say anything back to her. If he meant his apology, then why wouldn't he text her back? Why wouldn't he message her back? Why wouldn't he say thank you to her? The most important thing about Louis C.K. right now is that he has 2 daughters. He has 2 little girls who are going to grow up into women. And they will be a lot healthier and a lot happier and a lot better off without a father living in shame and disgrace. And I'm so happy for that woman that she came to a place that she was able to forgive Louis C.K. But when she and I were talking, we were having coffee, and it was so triggering because, I was jerked off too. Well, I was crying, telling this guy to stop, and it was awful. It was a nightmare. It was horrible. I froze. I didn't know what to do. He was my friend. It was so confusing. It was so alienating. And imagine how confusing and alienating and it would be if it was a stranger, if it was someone that you hardly knew. But imagine if it was somebody who you were friends with, somebody who you shared intimate details about your life with, somebody that and one thing, I talked about sex with him a lot, and I talked about sex, and I should be able to talk about sex, and I should be able to talk about things that are pertaining to sexuality, and that's something that's such a big part of me. Sexuality is such a big part of me, and it's not my fault. It was forced on me. It was forced on me. Sexuality was forced on me young. It's a big part of who I am. I should be able to talk about it. I have a lot to say about it. Without being harassed, without being abused, without being sexually assaulted, without being sexually battered. I have a lot to say about sexuality. And one of Louis C.K.'s accusers that I'm speaking of, she wrote about sex. Sex was a main topic of her writing. It was a very common subject amongst her writing. She should be able to write about sex without some guy jerking off to her over the phone. Isn't that fair? Isn't that right? Isn't that reasonable? I had really bad PMS this month, that's for sure. And man, I called my dad, And I just was crying, sobbing, and just hyperventilating. And he just talked me down and made me feel better. But I told my dad, I was like, Dad, is there a God? And he said, yes. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm losing faith. And I was losing faith. I've just had so much bad shit happen to me that it's just, why? You know? I feel like I'm just on this speeding train all by myself and I don't know how to stop it. I feel like the track is gonna run out and I'm gonna crash. And or I'm gonna go off a cliff, or I don't know. And I've felt like that since I was 13. I'm just on this speeding train, just going way too fast, and I would just love for it to slow down one day. And there is a God. There is. You know, I can prove it because crazy shit happens all the time. Crazy, unexplainable shit happens all the fucking time. Miracles, paranormal, you name it. Unexplainable shit happens all the fucking time. There's a police report in Indiana of a police officer witnessing a child walking up a wall backwards. You know, I saw a ghost once. Oh, yeah, I saw a ghost once. I was 9. I was at my uncle's house. It was his old Victorian house in Virginia. And they had a pool. So I went upstairs to change into my bathing suit. And while I was changing, the door opened. And there was a man standing there who wasn't really there. It was an apparition. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a shadow. It was just like a shadow, and I saw red orbs, but it was a man. It was a man there. He looked at me and he closed the door. Explain that to me. I would love science to explain that to me, but science never will, because you can't explain that shit. There's a spirit. There's a soul. There's things of this world that are unexplainable and can't be explained. And I just know from my experiences practicing witchcraft and playing around with that, don't, first of all, but second of all, fuck. Crazy shit happens when you do witchcraft. Don't do it, but like crazy shit goes down when you do witchcraft. It brings things into your life that aren't good. Maybe good at first, but they're not good. it's weird because, like, you know, I'm sort of self-aware to a point where I'm like, I'm the kind of person that's like, oh, I was sexually assaulted and sexually battered because I worshiped the devil, you know? And it's like, but I didn't, I didn't worship, I mean, I anyways, sometimes I'm just like, huh. But at the same time, like, yeah, like I went up to the roof and I danced naked and crazy shit happened. After that, I did that. Crazy shit started happening after I did that. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. It's just real. Spiritual things are just very real. And I believe the Bible is the best guide to understand them and how they work. And when I was stripping, I was fucking with the devil. Those are, strip clubs, they're toxic environments for women. You just know when you go in there. You just go into any strip club, you just know it's toxic. You just know it's wrong. You just know it's evil. You just know there's something filthy about it. There's something so filthy about it, and you feel it. We were born to feel shame. And we cover our bodies. We cover our bodies. Because we're ashamed of our bodies. We're ashamed of these parts of our bodies that create life, that feed children. That we can give and receive pleasure with. You know, these things, we hide them. We hide them because we're ashamed of them. But why? I mean, what does the book of Genesis say? I forget, but it's just like, for some reason, when God cast out Adam and Eve, they started wearing clothes and covering their bodies. And you know, considering all the crazy shit that goes on in the world, miraculous or paranormal or not, all the crazy, unexplainable shit that goes on in the world, I don't think I'm unreasonable by believing a virgin could get pregnant. Had to have happened once. No, I don't think I'm unreasonable at all. You know, and what's interesting about the Bible and about Jesus, and I think what sets aside, what kind of makes Christianity make a lot more sense than a lot of the other religions, is that Jesus performed his miracles publicly in front of thousands of people, hundreds and thousands of people. And 500 people witnessed Jesus ascending into heaven. That's in the Bible too, 500 people. It's weird to think that Jesus had a personality, that Jesus had qualities, you know? Jesus was an individual. Just like any other person. Jesus was an individual who had likes and dislikes, interests and hobbies. Just like anybody else, you know? He was a Capricorn. If he was born in December, which he probably wasn't, but anyways. That's dumb. But, yeah. I don't think I'm unreasonable. I just don't. I know I'm an eccentric as I'm an extremely eccentric person, and I'm pretty out there, and I'm very, but I have fun. You know what I mean? Like, I have fun. Like, crazy shit happens in my life. Crazy shit has gone down in my life. And through it all, I have fun. Even when I'm being abused, I make it fun, you know? Like, I'm kidding. No, I don't know. Sometimes I think I have Stockholm syndrome because of just like, I don't, just some of the people that, I mean, I don't know. Stockholm syndrome, just, I empathize with my abusers, you know. I feel like I'm held captive in the pain that they've caused me, but at the same time, I empathize with them and I care about them and I love them. You know? So why can't I forgive them? Probably because the love I feel for them was compelled by abuse. I've said this before, but there is something meaningful in somebody giving you their pain in the form of abuse. It's like they trust you with the darkest parts of themselves. And I've seen the darkest parts of men. I've seen the darkest parts of men's hearts. They've shown that to me. And through it all, as much pain as I am in because of it, that means something to me. I'm being forced to carry the cross for these men who abused me. And if I want to get down from the cross, I have to forgive them. I have to say, God, forgive them, because they don't know what they're fucking doing. And forgiveness truly is a miracle. It truly is miraculous. And I'm praying for that miracle. I'm praying so hard for that miracle. Anyways, that's my vlog for today. I'm just gonna watch some TV, I guess, and just hang out and try and get some sleep later, I guess. But yeah, that's my vlog for tonight. Have a lovely day. Like and subscribe. Support the Patreon when I have it up. And yeah, have a lovely day. Bye.